Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome into the video. So in this one, we're going to be going over and analyzing Upstart stock, ticker symbol UPST, taking a look through the fundamentals, the technical setup, and the business model. Overall, giving my thoughts of whether I think this is a buy or not, what I'm looking out for on this stock, and just some overall thoughts from the company and where this stock could be going in the short term and long term. Alright, so let's get into it. So Upstart stock has been on quite the ride since going public in December of 2020 at around $20 per share. I think it went public at about $22 per share. The company has continuously blown out earnings estimates, shown pretty amazing growth, which resulted in this stock going on an absolutely huge run up to a high of $400 per share. Ever since hitting that high though, the crash in growth stocks really started taking to effect, and Upstart stock got destroyed after that, then leading to a drop and hitting a low of about $75 per share, and now currently sitting right at about $100 per share. It currently trades for a market cap of $8.41 billion. So a quick overview of what Upstart the company does. Essentially, it's an AI lending platform. So with their software, they found a way to streamline approving customers for loans, a process that took much longer in the past with traditional banks. A couple main things with the business that they advertise and talk about is 4 in 5 Americans have never defaulted on a credit product, yet less than half of Americans have access to prime credit. In other words, loans in which the consumer doesn't end up getting screwed with the rates and the terms of the loan. Upstart is out there to change that. That's their goal with the business. Upstart also advertises their model compared to the traditional bank model. Showing the comparison, they show 75% fewer loan defaults at the same approval rate and also 173% more approvals at the same exact loss rate. Upstart has their own direct online business and also partner with banks and institutions that use their AI platform for loans, in which Upstart ends up getting a cut of that. The company also recently got started in the auto loans business, and management has also talked about getting into the mortgage business as well, and that would expect it to be in 2023. Both of those some pretty massive total addressable market opportunities. Now taking a look at the fundamentals, starting off with the balance sheet, they got a pretty healthy balance sheet with cash and cash equivalents of about $986 million versus current liabilities of $116 million, total debt of about $795 million, so more cash than debt, always a healthy sign, though nothing too convincing either way through the balance sheet. Now taking a look at the numbers, it's super impressive the amount of growth the company has had, and at the same time continuing to have a very profitable business model. It currently trades for a projected 2022 price to earnings of 43, a 2023 projected price to earnings of 31, while continuing rapid revenue growth. Forward estimates in 2024 and beyond make this look even more cheap, with projections giving it a price to earnings ratio of 21 based on those 2024 projections, and of course just more growth and cheaper outlook from there. Like we were talking about, super impressive revenue growth as well. Last year grew over 263%. This year they're expected to grow revenue about 67%, and the 2 years after that expected to grow 35 to 40%-ish. But Upstart has also beat earnings estimates at every report so far that they've reported at, and has continuously raised forward guidance as well, which makes these continuous earnings beats even that more impressive. Their most recent earnings were super impressive as well, beating on earnings per share by 75% above consensus, with 89 cents versus 51 cents expected, and also beating on revenue by 16%, with coming in at $305 million versus $263 million what was expected. The company also raised the revenue guidance for the full year of 2022, saying they now expect a revenue of $1.4 billion versus what was previously projected at $1.2 billion, which is another 18% beat on guidance, giving a strong outlook for the year ahead. At the earnings report as well, they also did announce a $400 million share buyback program, which also is something that shows management believes that this company and this stock is undervalued at current prices. So far, just looking at these numbers, Upstart looks like a no-brainer buy, but one thing that does give me caution is the technical chart. Taking a look now, it's been stuck in this range between the low 80s per share and about $160 per share as those key support and resistance levels. We can also see that it's in a pretty massive head and shoulders pattern, which is bearish overall, and if it did break that key support level at about $80 per share, there's a gap to fill below at about $62.50 per share. In the current market that we're in, the cheap can always get cheaper and anything can happen in the short term, so even though the valuation is looking very attractive right now, technicals may play a bigger part than fundamentals in the short term, and it's also not a great look that it already gave up all of its gains from that recent blowout earnings report. Now personally, I think that it's overall unlikely to break down and fill that gap all the way down to 62.5. That would be another about 40% crash from current prices. But at the same time, I would not be surprised if that was to happen. We've seen much crazier things in this market. In that scenario, that 62.5 price level would be an absolutely no-brainer buy in my personal opinion, and I personally would no doubt be buying at that price if it was to get there. But overall, for anyone who's looking to buy this stock, in my opinion, just like anything else, the best strategy may be to average in slowly with the expectation that the stock will go lower in the short term, but also knowing though this is a very fast moving stock and at any point could take off and never see this low of prices, which is why it may be smart to be averaging in slowly, like we were saying, no matter how bearish the technical setup is looking right now. One batch of news that changes market sentiment could change everything, send the stock right back up along with the market. Though the biggest reason why the stock price hasn't really followed in line with how well the fundamentals have performed is overall because of the sector that it's in. Nobody in the market right now wants to be exposed to a lending company with all the fear talk currently about a possible upcoming recession right now, the yield curve potentially inverting in the future. There's just a lot of fear out there right now, as we know. If a recession happened, it would be pretty disastrous for Upstart, as loan defaults would likely start to skyrocket, and it would be bad news with all the debt that Upstart is exposed to. Just not a good situation at all for a lending company in a recession. Look, overall, my thoughts are it is unlikely to have a recession, but it's certainly a possibility, and the odds are continuously increasing on the path that we're going down. So it is a situation to be aware of, and it just kind of gives you that pause before investing in a stock like this. But if those fears slow and the market finds a bottom, something that could happen at any point with the right news right now, I think it would be a great chance that Upstart turns into a market leader and outperforms on a huge way on the bounce back up. If you track this stock, if you just keep it on your watch list, you'll see on days where growth stocks is up, this is usually a 10% plus mover, and it also outperforms to the downside. Days that growth stocks are down, you see Upstart stock down 10% plus some days, just randomly, no news backing that up. Upstart stock is definitely one of the most interesting stocks in the market though, to me personally. If we were just looking at the numbers and the fundamentals, I think this would be a no-brainer buy, but so many other factors come into play with the market that we're in. There are some questions about the business model. Is their AI lending business model really one of a kind? Or can big banks and institutions copy and kind of make something like it? That is a worry about the business model. Also, of course, recession fears if one was to play out. Do not want to be exposed to a lending business. And also with the technical setup looking pretty bearish. So for all those reasons, this is a stock that I'm personally very cautious on, but is also one that is near the top of my watch list for short-term trades, playing the momentum both ways. And also, when the market does bottom, finally start reversing, just based on their earnings numbers and based on how the stock moves, this is one that I think will be outperforming in a big way if all of those fears were to subside. So there's going to be opportunity in the stock, no doubt. Is this a no-brainer long-term buy? In my opinion, there's a lot of factors surrounding it, so that is in question. But is this one that you should definitely keep on your watch list? Keep up with the company, continuously do research on this one, see where they're at. I think 100% for sure. Maybe averaging slowly, build it into a smaller position until your thesis builds out stronger and then increase. Or if it was to drop, fill that gap down below. Maybe that's the no-brainer buy spot. But a reminder to always do your own research. This is not a buy or sell recommendations or anything like that. Just giving my thoughts, analyzing the stock real quick, and throwing some ideas out there for trading or investment opportunities. So overall, hope you guys enjoyed. If so, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, for anyone interested in joining the private Discord chat, that's the first link down in the description. You get all my personal buy and sell alerts. I answer any questions you have, and you get nightly watch lists. So once again, that's the first link down in the description. So thanks so much for watching all the way through, guys. I do greatly appreciate that, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.